Audra from the Kurt's Corner, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own pair of baby moccasins using the Martha Stewart Knit and Weave Loom Kit. So this kit was sent to me by my sponsors, Lion Brand Yarn. It's a really great kit if you are beginning to knit and weave. It's fun, and it comes with 18 loom pieces with hundreds of different pegs and a few knitting tools to help you get started. It creates over 30 different loom configurations, and it even comes with a booklet to show you how to set up your loom and different projects that you can create using the loom. So this is just what the box looks like, and it shows you on the back the different types of pieces that come with the kit. So it's a really great kit, and I encourage you to go out and buy it if you are new to knitting, and if you just want a fun loom kit to help you create your knitting and weaving projects. So today we're going to be using the kit to create our own pair of baby moccasins, which I have here. So these are really cute, really comfy, fun first project that you can create with your Martha Stewart loom kit. So I have created these using Lion's Brand Landscape yarn, which is this yarn here. This is a different color that I have. I use the Desert Spring color. This color right here is called Tropics, but it's a really fun yarn. It's really soft. It is a medium number 4. And I like it because the colors transition, so you get a fun pattern when creating your project. So you can see here that they're not exactly matching up perfectly, but I like that and I think it's pretty cool. You just have to create one shoe, and then when you're done knitting that one, you have to go to the portion of yarn and start again with the color that matches here, because there's probably about 6 different colors in the skein of yarn, so you just want to start and end with pieces that match the colors that are in your knitted work. So we're going to go ahead and get started by setting up our loom kit, and I'll show you which pieces that we need in order to create these moccasins, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, now to begin our loom setup, we will be creating this long rectangular shape seen here. We're going to need 2 end pieces, which are these 2 pieces that you see here. You're going to need 2 6 peg pieces, 2 12 peg pieces, and then 2 36 peg pieces. We're going to be using the blue pegs for our project, and in total you will need 44 pegs, and just place those along evenly on one side of your loom. And then you will also need your knitting hook for this project, and we are now ready to begin. Okay, now that you have assembled your loom, we are going to take our yarn and we are going to do our single knitting cast on. So to begin this, you'll have to create a slip knot to start your work. So take your yarn, double it, and then make a simple slip knot. And then you're going to want to place it on the 19th peg from the right. So in total we have 44 pegs, and we're going to count from the right hand side to the left, from the right to the left, over and put our slip knot on the 19th peg. Okay, we're going to put our working yarn, or our tail behind our work, and you're going to want to have a good length of a tail, because this is what we're going to use to knit the moccasins together in the end. So to do a single knit cast on, you're going to want to take your yarn and go in a counterclockwise position, counterclockwise direction twice around the next peg, not the one with the slip knot on it, but the next one. And then you're going to take your knitting tool and lift the bottom loop over the top loop, and just be sure that you're not doing your work super tight, or it'll be hard to knit as you go. So just in a loose manner, do that again in a counterclockwise motion, lift the bottom loop over the top loop, and continue that casting on for 8 pegs total. So now we're going to begin our knitting. So this is just a single basic knit. So we're going to take our working yarn, and what we're going to do now is come back in the opposite direction and go across the peg. You don't have to go all the way around, just across, and then lift, using our knitting tool, lift the bottom loop over the top loop. And again, keep your work kind of loose. You don't want it to be too tight, otherwise it'll become too hard to lift over the loops as you go. So just continue doing that until you reach the end, and then we'll turn around and go back in the opposite direction. Okay, so we're going to again create another slip knot with a long tail. So take your yarn, twist, and pull through, create your slip knot. And again, I'm going to start on the right side, but this time I'm going to start all the way at the end. Okay, so you'll have to again do another cast on, and then after you cast on, you'll have to come back and knit, doing your basic knit stitch back and forth again for another 15 times. So I'm going to start by casting on. So again, to cast on, put your slip knot on, wrap your yarn around the second peg twice, and lift the bottom loop over the top. Wrap around twice in a counterclockwise motion, lift the bottom over the top, and then just continue doing that all the way down until you have cast on. So now I have cast on up until the point where I have reached where my first portion of the work ended. So I'm on this peg, which is the cast on, and then this peg starts the work that I've already completed. So it's kind of like casting on, except for you're not wrapping it around twice, but you are combining the two pieces of work. So I'm just going to go around once, lift the bottom loop over the top loop, still going in that counterclockwise motion. And then I'm going to do that until I reach the last peg that has our knitting on it. And then I'm going to continue as if I were casting on again. So I'm going to finish these last two. Just wrapping once, bottom loop over, and then I'm going to continue as if I were casting on again. Alright, so I've cast on all the way down from the first peg on the right hand side all the way down to the 44th peg on this left side, and now I'm just going to continue knitting normally all the way back down, and I'm going to do that 15 times. So just wrap it around, going across your peg, not looping fully around, and then lifting that bottom loop over. And just again make sure that you're not doing it too tight, otherwise your work will be really hard to lift over the peg. Now that we have knit 15 times back and forth, we're going to now bind off our work, which is what prevents our work from unraveling. So you have to bind off anytime that you're doing your knitting. So to start your binding off, you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to knit the first peg. So just wrap it across, lift up and over, and then we're going to knit the second peg. And we're going to now lift the loop off of the second peg and put it on the first peg. We're going to lift the bottom two loops over the top loop, and that's called knitting two together. So then we're going to take the yarn off of the first peg, transfer it over to the second peg, and this time we're going to only knit the second peg, lift the loop off the second peg onto the first peg, grab those bottom two loops, cross the yarn over, and knit two together, and then transfer your loop to the next peg. So you're going to do that all the way down until you get to the end, and that will bind off of your work. And once you're finished, I will show you how to create a knot at the end of your work. Okay, so now we have binded off our entire piece of work, and now what we're going to do is we are going to finish our last loop by tying a knot. So I'm going to take my working yarn and I am going to cut a fairly long piece off so that it has a long tail left, and that's what we're going to use to knit our work together. So I am now going to slip the loop off of the last peg. So now we are going to take our working yarn, the tail that we have left, and we're just going to pass it through that loop so that we can create a knot, and then just simply pull tight, and that will create the knot at the end of your work. So we're going to take our work and lay it out flat, and this is going to be part A or side A. What you're going to do is you're going to take side A and you're going to join it with side B, which is this end portion here. So the end goes to the end. So we're going to combine, again, A to B, and then we're going to sew down the side, and then we're going to take this side over here, A, and we're going to join it down to B again. So it's going to take some shaping, and then you'll see it start to come together, and then you'll sew down this side, and then you'll have the moccasin shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it inside out so that it looks like this, with the rolling going towards the inside of the moccasin. And then we're going to sew around the toe to give it that rounded shape. Okay? So I'm going to sew and fast forward through the video so that you can see. Okay, so as you saw, as I was stitching it together, I was just using a basic whip stitch, so that's just going in circles around our work. And now I'm going to turn the corner and sew down the side. So now that I have finished sewing down this end, I am going to tie it off. So just put your needle through the work, leaving a loop, and then come through that loop and pull. So we're just going to cut off that piece after we've tied our knots together, and that is the first side that is sewn together. And then I'm going to do that again with this side. And this time I'm taking side A, going to side B, and I'm going to go on top of that one. So just place it on top, flatten it out with your hands, and then take the yarn that you have left to knit it together, and again do a whip stitch and stitch down the side. Okay, so to flip it inside out, just turn your work inside out, and then you're going to want to push the toe portion down with your thumbs. You'll need to kind of work with that to get it to the shape that you want. So you'll have to reach in and kind of pull the work so that it's flat, and it creates a rounded toe. Okay. So I've got some of my tails left over, so I can just tie those off and then cut them. This is what it looks like finished, and the rolling of the knit goes to the inside of our work, and this is what the finished product looks like besides the tails being cut off. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up down below, and as always, check out my sponsors, Lion Brand Yarn, at lionbrand.com. If you'd like more info on how to use and configure your loom kit, be sure to check out Lion Brand's Knit and Weave Loom Kit playlist on their YouTube channel, and check out all of their fun knitting tutorials that you can use for your Martha Stewart Knit and Weave Loom Kit. I'll see you next time. Bye!